was hexed at 11 years old by a woman in the church that was jealous of my mother. My father was a minister and my mother was very spiritual, and people did not believe that my mother and father should have been together because they believed my mother was a witch, which is ironic, right? My father had an appreciation, and the food that was prepared for everyone, I took one bite and I fell ill immediately, to the point where I had to go lay in the backseat of my father's car. That moment led to me being paralyzed from the neck down and a 3-month hospital stay. I never received a formal diagnosis, and I was told from the doctor that I would never walk again. Like any loving parents, my mother and father were willing to try anything, and they were looking for answers, and that led them to Malidoma Some. At that point, we had given up on modern medicine, and we had began to fight a spiritual war that included spiritual baths and ritual. Within 30 days, I had taught myself how to walk again. And I'm not saying it like I'm just, no, by the grace of God. I regained strength in my limbs after being told that it would not happen, and that I was sent home in a pink wheelchair, and they gave me a walker, and that was pretty much it. I made a full recovery. I moved on with my life, went back to school like nothing happened. But every so often, I think about that, and how those same church folks would accuse me of being a witch and practicing witchcraft. But I was hexed by a woman in the church.
Thankfully, she regained her ability to walk again and became healthier after that. A lot of people don't understand what's happening to them and why randomly health problems start to happen out of nowhere. Yeah. Welcome forward to another video. I'm so glad that y'all clicked on this, because we are on another episode of This World is More Magical Than You Think.
I am back with another spooky story, and this one is yet again another submission from South Africa. So the person who submitted this story is from their aunt's husband. So she says that her uncle and aunt stayed in a ghost town, miles away from everyone in the family. Now, she says this is a ghost town because it's a very small town in South Africa with minimal stores. It's just a creepy place. So they visited their newly built house for the first time this one time, and to her, something was just off. She always used to feel like she was being watched by someone or something while she was inside the house. She even dreaded going to the bathroom or getting a glass of water from the kitchen, because at night, everything was just much creepier and she was just scared. She was scared of what? She does not know, but she knew there was something to be scared of. So one time while they were sleeping around 1 a.m., she woke up to a noise, and it sounds like a dragging noise. It sounds like something was dragging themselves on the ceiling. And it wasn't like a typical mouse or a bird. It sounded like something dragging itself, like something really, really heavy. Like she was so paranoid and scared that this thing is dragging themselves right above her. Like what would happen if the roof just collapsed and whatever it was just fell onto her? Which is a fair fear. The house was just creepy as fuck. Okay, so this was 2012, right? Fast forward to 2019. Her aunt was at work and she claimed that she saw a snake running towards her. It literally went past everyone and headed straight towards her aunt. The aunt, seeing the snake charge at her, runs into one of the storerooms, locks herself inside until the snake just went away. The snake left and no one saw where it went. So fast forward to 2020, her uncle and her aunt got a divorce because the uncle was messing with somebody else. Like he was dating somebody else, which is very on brand for African men. And apparently this lady that, her uncle was dating told a friend of hers that she saw the most unforgettable thing in the house. So her uncle was bathing, and usually when he takes a shower, he takes really long. So this one time he forgets to lock the door, and the lady was wondering, why is the water splashing so hard in the shower? And when she walked in, nothing ever prepares me for these. She saw the biggest black snake in the tub that she's ever seen. The lady apparently took her phone and ran away. She left all her belongings and never went back there again. Another lady he also dated, oh, this is not done. Another lady he also dated said that he would get so cold at night sometime. In reference to the uncle, wait, I'm reading this story for the first time too. So not only would he get so cold at night sometimes, but he would have slippery skin that was just very weird. The uncle used to also go on these really long fishing trips, and he would always want to go alone for like 2 weeks at a time. He was just a very weird person. And to the niece, hearing all these different perspectives, this is all starting to make sense to her. Because basically everybody's explaining the snake thing to her, and she used to always hear the dragging thing in that house. And somehow always feeling like she was being watched by something in the house. And not only that, but sometimes she would also hear hissing. Bro. So the whole time, her uncle was shapeshifting into a snake. And luckily, her aunt divorced him before finding out about all of this. But she also says she would experience weird dreams in the house where it would be as though she's seeing a snake in her dreams, just laying there in their room looking at her. It was absolutely horrifying.
Yeah. So people can turn into snakes. Earth, y'all.
I got my snack, so get yours. It is a snack. I'm Haitian. So, there's this girl. Let's call her Deja. Deja had got home from work and she was tired. She ate dinner, she took a shower, she read her book, and then she went to sleep. Now, Deja is a very light sleeper. I am too. Like, somebody could walk past me and I'll wake up. So it wasn't any surprise when Deja woke up at 3 a.m. to somebody knocking on her door. She knows it was 3 a.m. because when she woke up, the first thing she did was grab her phone and look at the time because it's the middle of the night. Deja's like, who the hell could be at my door at 3 a.m.? Deja also knows better, so she didn't open the door. She went and looked through the peephole, but no one was there. So she's like, am I bugging? Like, I could have sworn there was a knock that woke me up. And she sat there contemplating for a while if she's bugging or not, because she's not going to wake up for no reason. She's like, all right, forget this. I'm going back to bed. She goes back to bed. She lays down, and the moment her head touched that pillow, she heard the knock again. And so she sat up. She's like, am I tripping right now? And as she's questioning herself if she's tripping, she hears the knock again. She's like, okay, I'm not bugging because I heard it. So she went back to the door, looked through the peephole. There's still nobody there. Deja had this neighbor. Y'all know how everybody has that one neighbor that just knows everything? Like, that neighbor watches everything and just looks out. He's like the block's cop. So an idea crossed her head. She's like, maybe it's my neighbor, but I don't see anybody. And she's like, I feel like I should call my neighbor to see if my neighbor's up. Usually, sometimes her neighbor be up around that time. So she calls her neighbor. Let's call the neighbor Mr. Hanks. Mr. Hanks picks up, and Deja's like, hey, Mr. Hanks, I'm so sorry to bother you. I really don't mean to call around this time. It's just that I keep hearing somebody knock on my door, but I don't see anybody outside. So I was just wondering if you saw anybody, like, walk away. Because someone keeps knocking at my door, but I don't see anybody. So Mr. Hanks is like, yeah, you're fine. I'm up. I thought I heard a knock too, but I didn't pay it too much mind. But it's okay. I'll come over there and check it out for you. So that made Deja feel a little better because the neighbor's coming just to, like, you know, help her feel a little more safe. So she's like, whew, I'm going to go back to bed to my room until Mr. Hanks comes. She goes back to her room. She closes her door. She gets into bed, but she's not going to sleep because she's waiting for Mr. Hanks. As she's sitting on her bed, scrolling on her phone, she heard a knock again, except this time that knock was on her room door. Like, somebody was knocking her room door. So it only means that something or somebody is inside the house now, which is impossible because she never opened the door. So it's safe to say now she's frozen. She's terrified. She is freaking out. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't even want to open the door. She's terrified. She grabs her phone to go and dial 911. She's trying to do this as quiet as possible. And right when she was about to do that, her window, somebody started knocking on her window. And it's the window, so it's clear. She can see nobody's there. So she immediately drops to her knees and starts praying because she doesn't know what to do. Because what is she going to say to the 911 operator? What's she going to say? There's a ghost knocking on my door? There's a ghost knocking on my window? Please come check it out. Like, she don't know what to do. As she's in front of her bed, on her knees, praying, she sees sees something under her bed. Now, Deja's a very clean person. She doesn't keep, like, she's very clean. She's like a germ freak. So when she saw something under her bed, she's like, impossible. And the way that the thing was, like, the way it was placed, it was as if somebody planted it there. So she goes under her bed, she reaches for whatever that she saw, she pulls it out, and it's the underwear of the person she last had sexual relations with. It was his boxers. And not only was it his boxers, when she touched it, it was oily, as if like the boxers had oil on it. And it was like wrapped, like as in like a small little ball so that it can be hidden. And when she opened the underwear, there were herbs inside. Herbs. The Haitian came out of me and I said herbs, but you get it. Deja is no stranger to witchcraft. She doesn't practice it, but she knows about it. She's like, holy shit, he got me. So she starts praying even harder. Like, she unravels the thing. She takes everything apart. Goes in her drawer. She gets a lighter because she had a bathroom, like, in her room. She ran to the bathroom, ran to the sink, and put the underwear on fire as she's praying over it. Y'all, when she started to burn that thing, it wouldn't burn. Mind you, the underwear has oil on it with herbs, so it should be catching fire, but it's not. And the more and more she's praying, the more and more she's trying to set it on fire, the knock that was at the door isn't even a knock anymore. It's a pound. She's hoping and praying that the neighbor comes through. However, in order for her to open the door for the neighbor, she has to leave her room. But this knock is now on her room door. So she calls her mom in the middle of the night. Her mom is like confused because she was half asleep. And Deja's freaking out. Deja's trying to explain to her mom what's happening, but her mom can't hear her because the knock on the door is so loud. After multiple tries, the mom finally understood what Deja was trying to say. And Deja's mom, too, is not new to witchcraft. She's not even from the U.S., so she definitely knows about it. Her mom immediately got angry with her because her mom is always warning her about who she, like, has sex with. Because, believe it or not, y'all, having relations with somebody is deeper than you think it is. That's why you're not supposed to do it before marriage. But that's another video for another day. So mom is mad at Deja. She's like, you know better. Why are you sleeping with people you barely know? To the point where they're putting things under your bed. Deja's like, mom, clearly I know, I messed up. But what can I do right now? Because I'm praying and I'm trying to burn it and it's not working. I got my
The part two it. We need to find a part two because what is happening and what are we gonna do about it and how do you move forward in this situation?
Deja's like, Ma, please help me. Like, I understand I messed up, but please, like, I don't know what to do right now. I'm scared. So Deja's mom is like, stay where you are. I'm on my way. Stay on the phone. So Deja stays on the phone. She continues to pray and she continues to try to burn these boxers. And it seems like it's working, but not really. Like, it'll spark now, but it still won't burn. Deja's mom puts her on hold and calls up her pastor. She speaks to the pastor. She told the pastor what's happening. And the pastor told her what to do. He told her to get her anointing oil, get her Bible, and head there and pray all over the house. Now, thankfully, Deja's mom has a spare key to her apartment. So she grabs everything that she needs and she's on her way. The pastor also told her after praying all over the house tonight, Deja has to leave the house and first thing in the morning, Deja has to go to the pastor because the pastor know exactly what's happening right now. So when mom got back on the phone with Deja and told Deja that she called the pastor, Deja's like, oh my God, you told the pastor about this? Like, you told the pastor I slept with somebody and now they doing voodoo on me? Deja was so embarrassed, but that was the only person that mom could think of that could help. Mom gets to her house. She opens up Deja's door. And obviously, no one was there, but the moment she walked into her apartment, she felt it. She felt the presence, and her apartment was cold. So she runs in, she opens up Deja's room, and there's Deja, terrified, crying. So immediately, she picks Deja up, and she starts praying over Deja. She starts praying over her. She's like putting the anointing oil on Deja. Finished praying over Deja, she starts praying over the house. Like, she starts going all over the house to pray, and Deja's trying to pray too, but she's still terrified. Last but not least, she goes to the underwear thing and she pours some of her anointing oil on it and starts praying over it. And as she's praying, she calls Deja over. She tells Deja, you need to pray with me just as hard as I'm doing. So Deja comes and they're praying. I kid y'all not. As they're praying, this thing catches fire. Mind you, Deja has been trying to put this thing on fire. It caught fire on its own. Deja had never experienced something like this in her life. So saying that she was terrified is an understatement. Because she had been trying to light this thing on fire for a long time. And you mean to tell me it just caught on fire by itself because they were praying? They start to pray even harder. Mom is going in with the prayer right now. Asia is trying her best to pray, but she's like traumatized right now. And about a minute into them praying, Deja starts cramping. She starts cramping really bad, as if she has like a bad period. So Deja tells her mom, and she's like, Ma, like I'm cramping, my stomach hurts. I'm cramping right now. And the more they were praying, the more the cramp like was getting stronger. It gets to a point where Deja's on the floor, curled up, crying in pain. At this point, Deja's regretting every single decision that she's made that led her to this point. She's trying to pray, but she's in so much pain. And now mom is freaking out. Mom was strong before, but now she's legit freaking out. Because not only is Deja on the floor curled up in pain, she sees that Deja starts to bleed. Immediately, she calls 911 for the ambulance to come and get her. Right after she called 911, she called the pastor back and told the pastor what's happening. The pastor's like, all right, head to the hospital. I'll meet you there. So after about 10 to 15 minutes, the ambulance arrives. They take Deja and mom and they head to the hospital. Get to the hospital, and after about 20 minutes of them getting to the hospital, the pastor shows up. The pastor speaks to her mom first to get a more detailed explanation of what happened. The mom answered all the pastor's questions. Pastor's like, damn, Deja is a victim. It's like, obviously she's a victim, but can you help her? Can we please do something? Pastor starts talking to her mom, and he says, I've seen this before. There are witches and warlocks out here that prey on people. They prey on young women like Deja. There's a group of them. It's like a cult. They go around, they have sexual relations with people. Through that is how they're able to snatch your soul, literally. Afterwards, depending on how protected you are, you slowly but surely start losing yourself. Your life slowly but surely starts falling apart. 90% of the time, the person ends up losing their mind. That's how they're able to take that person's soul. Pastor's like, we're going to have to do a deliverance. But they can't do it at this exact moment because the doctors are working on Deja. They take Deja, they do all kind of tests, and mom and pastor are sitting here impatiently waiting. Doctor finally comes back and tells them that Deja has a tumor. Mom instantly starts crying, obviously. Pastor's like, when can we see her? Doctor's like, we may have to operate on her very soon, but in the meantime, while we're waiting for more test results, you guys can see her. They go, and the pastor pulls out his Bible, he pulls out his anointing oil, he pulls out all the tools in the book. He starts praying and praying and praying. The mom is praying, the pastor's praying, Deja's trying to pray, but poor baby, she's in pain. So they pray and pray and pray until the doctor finally comes back. The doctor tells them that they want to operate on her within the next couple days because the tumor is pretty big. So they use those next couple days to double down on prayers. Long story short, when it was time for Deja to go and get her surgery, doctors were doing last minute checks, and the doctors come back and say, we've never seen this before, but the tumor shrunk within these. It's still there, but it shrunk significantly. Deja physically seemed like she was better too. She wasn't in as much pain anymore. The doctor gives them a choice to either wait it out or still operate. They decided that they were going to operate. So Deja went in for surgery to remove the little bit of the tumor that was left. Surgery went great. It was successfully removed. After all of that, upon investigation from the family, they found out that that guy that she slept with was indeed a warlock. I have no idea how many of them walk around this earth. That's exactly how they get you. And it's not just men, women too. She just said that was the hardest lesson that she had to learn in her life. She's good. She's still good till this day. She's sane. However, she said she didn't have sex for 6 years after that. Not until she was married to her now husband.
Let this story be a reminder that the temple that you reside in, that your soul is in right now, is very special and it's important. And you need to keep up with that temple. Be in tune with yourself, be in tune with your body, and know the power of you being connected to yourself. Because when you're disconnected, you're not aware of what's going on with you spiritually. Y'all know how them scary movies go. People don't start taking things seriously until something physically or that they're being attacked. Like, no. The little things, the feelings, pay attention to your vibration, please. And also, like, even just for me, this is what I'm dealing with now. Even though, like, I'm pretty sure some of y'all are not Christians. Like, I'm not a Christian, but it's also important to know the power of your word, the power of speaking, and the power of prayer. Being able to have certain things that you say, or, just whatever you use to channel or feel that divine light, that divine healing, that energy that you need to gain power over whatever you feel is attacking you, or whatever you feel, if you're in danger, or if you need to just protect yourself before you go to bed. Like, that is important. And I think that is a thing that we don't take seriously in the spiritual community, is speaking, like actually having things that we say to really take care of ourselves on a protective, on a health wise, on a love, on a just on a energetic level. When you're in situations that might be negative, or like you don't know what's going on, you need to be able to know how to energetically put shields up and be like in tune, and be in tune with yourself energetically, mentally, spiritual, and tap into that version of you. And you can do that through voice, through the power of your words. But do you even know what to say? Are you prepared to speak power over a situation? Are you prepared to cleanse a house? Are you prepared to protect yourself before you go to bed? Are you prepared to pray over your food? Like, do you know how to speak energetically? But that was a great story. I'm so glad that she shared that, and make sure y'all go support the people who are actually giving these stories. I just wanted, like, I'm over here learning myself, so I know that I normally make content, but I'm learning myself about this world, and the fact that we are learning so much from our TikTok family is amazing. But yeah, that's all I really got today. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, and I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day. I hope this wasn't too spooky. I hope this just inspired you to speak power over any situation where you feel you are being defeated, or something is happening to you that you don't understand. So yeah, know the power of your word. Have a good rest of your day, and I love you.